AI code generation is a solved problem. Raw code now flows into enterprise repositories faster than at any point in history. Engineering organizations can no longer compete simply by outputting lines of text at a higher velocity. Speed without control creates immediate liability. The operational bottleneck has shifted. The primary friction point in modern software delivery is the complete lack of accountable, enforceable release discipline. Existing copilots output syntax at scale, but they do not output governance. They offer suggestions, leaving compliance-conscious enterprises to manually verify every automated change. Generic agent wrappers attempt to organize this output, but they act merely as orchestration layers. They lack the strict, deterministic enforcement mechanisms required to stop bad code from advancing. Without rigid boundaries, engineering teams face severe architectural drift. Localized AI decisions slowly mutate the established design standards of the repository. This drift leads directly to unmanageable dependency sprawl. Unchecked AI assistants introduce arbitrary external packages, expanding the attack surface and introducing supply chain vulnerabilities. The compounding result is unacceptable risk. Continuous integration pipelines stall because human reviewers cannot safely audit the sheer volume of generated changes. Organizations require an enterprise-grade control system, a definitive layer that sits strictly between AI generation and production deployment. The enterprise market has permanently shifted. Engineering teams no longer need more AI productivity, they demand AI accountability. AI operates on probability, generating the most likely string of text. Enterprise software releases require absolute determinism. Resolving this friction requires decoupling the definition of the rules from the mechanism that enforces them. This is the Caris Stack. It operates as the immutable governance doctrine applied directly to the repository. It dictates strict architecture selection, defining exactly which patterns are permitted within the codebase. It establishes immutable dependency policies to control exactly what external code can enter the environment. And it mandates semantic bundling rules for all incoming code, organizing changes logically before they are processed. The second half of the platform is the Phoenix engine. This is the active control plane. Autocomplete tools suggest code. The Phoenix engine dictates whether that code is fit to proceed. It operationalizes the rules defined by Caris into a daily guided execution shell for operators. Caris defines the standard. Phoenix forces compliance. Together, they establish a layer of governed execution. Consider the exact moment an AI-authored pull request attempts to enter the deployment pipeline. Phoenix immediately intercepts the change. The code is isolated into a clean room staging environment. This absolute isolation is mandatory. It physically prevents unsafe release flow before any inspection begins. Once secured, the system initiates a pre-flight inspection phase. The Caris policy baseline is aggressively run against the isolated code's architecture and dependencies. If a policy violation is detected, the system's reaction is entirely deterministic. It immediately triggers typed intervention gates. These are not generic AI warnings or passive suggestions. They are absolute, categorical hard stops. The pipeline remains physically frozen until the operator resolves the specific typed failure. This operational pipeline completely replaces subjective human code review with objective, mathematically enforced release blocks. Eventually, a change successfully clears all hard gates and exits the Phoenix engine. Every successful exit from the engine generates a comprehensive package of release evidence. The first critical component of this payload is a fully verified software bill of materials, or SBOM. An SBOM is a formal, machine-readable inventory detailing all software components and dependencies used to build the application. The second component includes cryptographically signed policy artifacts, proving mathematically that the Caris baseline was enforced. The third component is documented alignment with the repository's specific threat model. For DevSecOps and compliance teams, this highly structured evidence radically reduces ambiguity. The continuous generation of this evidence creates real-time risk visibility across the entire engineering organization. A definitive, localized audit trail replaces the black box outputs typical of standard generative AI tools. This evidence provides the documentation required to treat AI-authored code as a defensible asset. For mid-market engineering teams, adopting this system is the most direct path to establishing baseline discipline over their codebases.
For regulated enterprise teams, it acts as a master control plane, adopted specifically to ensure strict audit readiness. This chart plots the hard gate intervention rate, the volume of caught errors, against a shrinking time-to-safe merge delta. Tracking these rates proves real-time risk visibility and tangible enforcement value. Tracking the release evidence completion rate validates an organization's overall audit maturity. Over the next release cycle, the sheer volume of AI-generated code will scale exponentially. Current manual review workflows will mathematically break under this incoming volume. Because of this scale, strict policy control and release gating are transitioning from optional developer tools to mandatory infrastructure. The platform creates trust entirely by establishing absolute execution boundaries. Caris defines the standard. Phoenix operationalizes it, establishing the definitive control plane for AI-assisted software delivery.